Friday, through the course of this baseball season, we've been talking with John Mozes, the Altoona Curve. He joins us again today. And our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Tough last night for the Curve. And especially since these young guys are coming up and getting their first taste of Double-A ball. Erie's pretty good, and they ran into some good pitching last night, huh, John?
Well, yeah, Ty Madden. I mean, talk about, you see why he was the 32nd overall pick in 2021. Big-time fastball, really good command of the breaking ball, feel for the changeup, just an all-around great performance last night on the opposite side. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. The other guys, they get paid too. They're pretty talented guys too. And, boy, that was on display last night. Pretty good stuff from Madden.
Yeah, but then the Curve didn't pitch badly at all. Braxton Ashcraft, again, he only gets short outings. And we recognize why, because of the injury history and everything. You want to be very careful with them, but the guy continues to impress.
Oh, he was terrific again last night. It's a really good curveball, and he pitches with a little bit of an attitude with that fastball, 95 to 97 miles an hour. I mean, that'll play at any level. So, it's been really encouraging what Ashcraft's been able to do. I mean, last night in the second inning, he gets a little bit of adversity. He's controlled the strike zone really well. He doesn't walk guys. And, he gets a routine ground ball over to third base, error committed, and immediately comes back and gets a double play ball. So, even when things don't go his way behind him in the field, he still just comes back and makes the next pitch. And that's something you really have to appreciate about the guy. I mean, the future looks really bright once he's fully healthy, probably going into spring training next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch how the Pirates monitor his innings and then up them, because obviously you can't have 3-inning starters. If you have 3-inning starters in the major leagues, that means you're getting beat up. So that's not going to be the formula for him moving forward, but it's really interesting watching him now at this level. Sung Chae, he just keeps on clubbing the ball, doesn't he? How about that little guy?
Oh, gotta love it. I mean, so he's on a 17-game hit streak, which is one of the longest marks in franchise history, the longest hitting streak in team franchise history. Austin Meadows, 24 games back in 2016. And Sung Chae is in range for that. And, an interesting little twist, on Sunday is our faith night, and, we're going to have a special appearance from former Curve infielder Alex Presley. And Presley owns a 19-game hit streak, one of the 5 longest streaks in Altoona's franchise history. So, Z was out of the lineup last night, got the day off, but, he could pass Presley's hit streak, if he gets a hit the next 3 nights here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and, to do it on Sunday when he's in the ballpark would be a pretty cool little moment of history for Altoona.
Yeah, and Alex, what a great name that is in Curve history. And he had a brief, but I thought a really cool run for the Pirates, too. He's one of my favorite guys from Curve history. Alex Presley was just a real stand-up guy and fun to watch play ball.
Absolutely. And, we're looking forward to having him as part of our faith night on Sunday night. And, look, if you're holding tickets to Sunday night's game, or if you haven't bought tickets yet, do so now. And if you're coming to the game on Sunday, have some patience with us. Try to arrive early. We're expecting a massive crowd. So it's going to be a lot of people in the ballpark. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of group tickets out. So the weather looks great. For the first time in a couple of years here on Faith Night, we've had a couple of rainouts on Faith Night the last 2-3 years, but the weather looks good for this time around. And if you're coming to the game, arrive early, have some patience, getting out after fireworks after the game, because be a lot of people in the ballpark. Should be a fun Sunday.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about this series as it's gone so far for the Curve against Erie. That's a good ball club, and you recognize that, and a good chance for these young guys that are coming up and getting their feet wet really at Double-A ball for the first time to see where they stand against some pretty talented guys.
You're right about that. I mean, this Erie team has been pretty good all year. If you look at the overall standings, they would have the best record in the Southwest Division by overall record this year. So, for Erie to be back, to be sort of in that playoff conversation, I think speaks to the depth of what they have in their organization. I mean, this week we're watching Jace Young, who was the 12th overall pick in last year's draft. He's playing the infield for Erie right now, and his older brother is an all-star for the Texas Rangers as a rookie this year. So, he's a really talented guy. Justice Bigby is a guy that's put his name on the Pirates, or pardon, on the Tigers prospect radar. And they've got really good pitching. They've been a little short the last couple of days in terms of available bullpen arms. But, Ty Madden was really good yesterday. They're going to get Wilmer Flores back off the injured list at some point soon here. Adam Wolf has been very good for them. They have a couple of guys that have been at this level for a little while and had success. They're guys that are sort of forcing their way into big league conversation for Detroit. This is about as good an Erie team as I've seen in 9 years covering the Eastern League.
Yeah. So from the Curves standpoint, I'm sure that there are some who don't look overmatched or look a little less overmatched than others. There are some guys there that have done really well this week. Jackson Webb continues to hit, and that's encouraging. But who to you has stood out this week?
Jackson Glenn for me is really standing out because he can play multiple positions. He plays the game hard. He's been working out of that leadoff spot for Altoona now for a couple weeks here. And he just gives you a good at-bat pretty consistently. He's run into a couple of extra base hits. He's hit a couple homers on this homestand. I think he's a guy that's sort of unheralded because, he didn't receive a big bonus. Sure, he's a fifth-round draft pick, but, didn't sign for a six-figure bonus. A guy that, I think the Pirates weren't expecting to be a really good player. But, boy, he's got some good skill. He can really run, and as I said, he can put the ball in play. He gives you good at-bats consistently. I think Jackson Glenn is a guy to keep an eye on. We're excited to get Matt Gorski back into the lineup this week. He just came back off the injured list because he's been having a hamstring issue for about a month here. Andres Alvarez just got back from the IL last night. So, you're starting to get a couple of guys back from injury now and giving this Altoona lineup a little bit of depth. So I think that'll sort of help take a little bit of pressure off somebody like Will Mathis or somebody like Jacob Gonzalez, who's been hitting, third and fourth in the middle of the Altoona lineup for the last couple of weeks here. But now that you have a couple more veteran guys that have had more success at this level, like Andres Alvarez and Matt Gorski into the conversation, I think that'll sort of help the Curve lineup be a little bit deeper going forward and probably lead to some more consistent offense.
Anytime you hear that name, Matt Gorski, you think back to the start that he had to last season before he got hurt and how long of a road it's been for Matt to get back and trying to recapture that sort of magic that he had at the start of that season. And you see signs, and the home run the other day certainly was one of those signs. But that's a guy that you got to root for, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, he's a guy that I think was pretty close to a promotion to AAA before his hamstring sort of started barking at him. He's a guy that's held in high regard in the organization. So, I just think he's the kind of guy you love to have on your team because he can run, he can really play defense in the outfield. And, we've talked about the power at some length before. It's pretty impressive power. I mean, he could be a really good major league player for a long time. But, as we've talked about, the key for him is just staying on the field. Because he does have a few things development-wise he needs to keep working on. You're trying to cut down the strikeouts a little bit and, a few things mechanically in his swing that I think he's sort of still fine-tuning. But, for him, it's about staying on the field. And when he's on the field, he's such an impact player. He's a guy that can make an impact in the big leagues for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned Faith Night coming up on Sunday night. What else is going for the weekend?
Wow, fireworks again on Saturday. We are still wearing our Altoona Pizza uniforms, specialty hats, and jerseys celebrating that wonderful slice of pizza that we've all seen and heard a little bit about over the last few years. Those specialty uniforms are really darn cool. And if you're in the ballpark, that's your best chance to get some of the merchandise. We've got T-shirts, we've got hats, we've got sweatshirts, you name it. We've got it in the store. So, stop by the stockyard when you show up to the ballpark here and take a look at what kind of merchandise we've got on hand. Should be a lot of fun. We'll do some local history night tonight at the ballpark. We'll play at 6 o'clock. And I'll tell you, man, the weather looks great these next couple of days. And fireworks Saturday, fireworks Sunday, and next thing you know, we'll be right back here in Altoona about a week's time to take on the Akron Rubber Ducks, and summer's going pretty quick.
Yeah, there are not all that many opportunities left to see the curve, so you're looking forward to every opportunity you get. And a special word, my son, of course, is a big Altoona Curve fan. He's a big Pirate fan, and the other day he was at PNC Park, and who does he see walking there? Altoona himself.
Yes, perfect. I love that.
So it was a beautiful experience. You tie the two connections, and there you go. It's a short highway for ball players and for mascots too.
Anything we can do to get Altoona to the big league is something I'm supportive of.
He needs to be there, but we want him still with the curve too. It's a quite the conundrum. Hey, Johnny, thanks. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, my friend. You too.
All righty. There's John Mozes, the Altoona Curve. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.